So the past 6 months, I've been working in the digital marketing industry, and I've seen things from a very high level. And it's amazed me now that the curtain has been pulled back. The realities of how the internet works, some realizations I've had about personal branding and what that means and how to do it, and the way that you can actually influence influencers, and in fact the media from the online world, from Facebook, from Snapchat, from LinkedIn, whatever it is. Facebook being the most powerful platform. So I want to talk mostly about the personal branding and how the same concepts lead straight into influencing the media, but just to touch on how the internet works. Basically, the internet is a platform where you're tracked all the time, right? Big Brother is like a little JavaScript piece of code that tracks your every move on every web page, and cookies and whatnot and what have you. So what ends up happening is that every time you click on something, every time you go to a website or land on a page, you're actually triggering events that are tracking your movements so that people can advertise to you. And so the end result of that is that you see people that you envy and that you agree with. And that also has to do with these social platforms, because that's where most people spend their time. People my age in the millennial Gen Z generation spend almost 24 hours a week on their phones, and I think up to 30% of that is just on social or just on Facebook. Not sure the exact stat, so don't quote me on that, but it's one of those two. In any case, the social platforms, their algorithms are all meant to keep you on that platform as long as possible, and they actually track how long you're on there on average. So when you're about to leave, according to their equations, they're going to put something there that you agree with, that's enjoyable for you, or that's going to keep you engaged on their platform. So what ends up happening, right? So you see people that you envy or that you agree with, and it's just a dangerous spiral for people that aren't prepared. But I tell people not to worry about it, because once you understand even just the basics, you have tremendous power through personal branding. And so that's what I want to bring to the average college student who is going to class and has a resume and applies online to all these different jobs, but has no real concept of what it means to network and the kind of power networking that's available online. And this is not like I want to make every college student some famous spokesperson or whatever. It's just basic strategies that if they follow them even a little bit, I know from personal experience, they'll get connections in high places. Specifically, Facebook and LinkedIn are places that absolutely have tremendous influence and tremendous opportunity with the people that are available to you at the click of a mouse, right? So when we talk about personal branding, we have to understand the fundamentals first, right? So the most fundamental thing, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, is that you have to be authentic these days. Because, and to put it bluntly, people's BS radar is really high now, right? I mean, especially people my age. We know when someone's full of crap, and we know when someone's authentic. So you have to be self-aware and know your message and know who you are before you start any of this. And there's the whole self-help industry on all of that, and I have my biases on which books I think are relevant, but so you start there. And then once you know who you are, what your message is, the problem you want to solve, and you have some goals set out for you, then you're ready to really enter the community and be an engaged person and have this conversation with people online. So you pick a topic, right? So there's any infinite number of topics that you may or may not be interested in, or actually, well, we'll focus on that you are interested in, that you want to talk about, and that you think are important. So we'll compare any individual topic to a forest. And in a forest, I learned this in a TED Talk, there are actually mother trees, right? So you have these big trees that are like the lifeblood. No, that's not a very good marker. That's a better marker. So you have the big mother trees, right? And these are the oldest trees in the forest, and what actually happens is all the little trees around them, so these are like medium-sized trees, and then these are all like the little tiny baby trees. There we go. So let's just say this is our forest, right? Mother trees, medium-sized trees, baby new trees. They actually share carbon back and forth through the network of roots to keep each other alive. And actually different types of trees with different seasonalities will transfer the flow of carbon based on which one needs the most to stay alive during which particular season. It's very interesting, but this is actually a good analogy to understand how personal branding works, right? So when you enter into a space to talk about a particular topic, you are not the first person who's going to say what you're going to say, right? There's hardly any original thoughts left in this day and age with so many people out there. So what you have to do is find someone who's already saying what you're saying that you agree with, and you have to promote them. So let's say you're into nutrition or something, and this is a doctor that's talking about healthy diet, a particular healthy diet that's extremely popular. So they're a mother tree that's providing life to all these other medium-sized trees. So what you can do is, and we're going to abandon the analogy now, is this person has a message and all these people are extremely interested in it. So what you do is you go to this person's page or profile, wherever they're publishing their content, and you share their content and promote it back to all the people interested. So that's one piece of it. The other piece is that you actually go to their posts and engage with the people in their posts so that you gain credibility because you're associating yourself with them, and then if you can provide value to the people on their posts, then you start to enter that same community, further warming up the audience for your particular spin on their message. So a few things that you can do: share their post to your public figure page on Facebook and advertise the post with your own opinion in your share text box, with your own opinion on it. You advertise it back to people who are interested in this person. So now, this person who's providing life to all these people, you're actually piggybacking off their audience. So all these people are now getting your message because they're interested in this person. It's a warm message, it's a warm audience, so they're ready for you to say the same thing, and they're going to engage with you. So that's one thing. Sharing posts and advertising it, writing articles and promoting it to the same community is extremely effective. And then just engaging with the people who comment on their posts is a good way to build a following too. I've started a brand new Twitter account just to test and gotten 100 followers in 4 days just by talking alone, to people here. And I don't know what 100 followers is worth, particularly starting off fresh, but I consider that a pretty decent accomplishment. So the way that this plays into influencing the media, right, is that you can advertise to people interested in a particular page of someone who's authoritative in a space, right? But this works exactly the same with the news. So what happens with the news is, let's say something newsworthy happens. I like to imagine a charity situation, right, where something really, really beautiful happens at a local charity that doesn't get any particular special attention from the community, but you capture that moment on video, you promote it from a page to people interested in what you do, right? So first you have to get the social proof, and the social proof on social media is likes, comments, and shares, and we're going to keep this strictly to the Facebook conversation. So you capture that moment and you advertise it to people interested in charity, interested in similar causes or similar interests, to get the likes, comments, and shares that you need to have some success with it at a basic level. Then once you have that engagement, you change the targeting on your post to a local news station. Local news station is going to pick that up right away. I mean, it doesn't take a particular... It doesn't particularly take any... What am I trying to say? It doesn't take a great amount of effort to get featured on a local news station doing that. So then once you're featured on the local news station with this good story, they'll post it to their Facebook page or social media. You can share that post to your page again and then target that post, advertise that post to your next level news outlets, right? And so you just keep playing this game. So once it gets picked up online, you share it to your page and then advertise it back to them. And then once it gets picked up by like CBS or Fox or CNN or the LA Times or the New York Times, it's just this game. You just share it to your page and then advertise it back to piggyback off their audience, and you just roll and you roll and you roll and you roll. And then you're playing with absolutely huge trees, right? Now we're talking about like redwoods in the redwood forest, and you're just boom, millions of views, and you can do this for only a few $100 if you catch the right audience right off the bat. So it's extremely, extremely effective. I don't want to split the video to dive into the actual what it looks like in Facebook, but what you can do and how this works is for the first level, right? So for personal branding, you're going to target interests because interest pages, people who like pages shows up as interest in the Facebook interface. So that's what you do for the personal branding. When you get to where you're playing with the news outlets, you actually target employers, so people who work at these specific news outlets. Then you can spend a small amount of money to ensure that these people are going to see it because it's usually such a small audience. And this really works. I mean, it really works. You can target people who work at the major news outlets and get your thing featured in the prime time slot. And that's incredible, incredible publicity. It's incredible social proof. It also makes for an incredible case study so that you can show that you know what you're doing. And that is full circle about how you can take the fundamentals of the internet and then transition that when you know how to use it into generating influence, generating authority, and getting social proof. So that is the special news trick.